Hello friends, we are going to discuss with you about Baiga tribal women empowerment. Baiga, as we know, is a particularly vulnerable tribe, PVTG. So Dr. Raktima Mukherjee will be sharing with you, if we want to go for any kind of women empowerment, what are the process? Do we have a scientific process, a method, a sequence which can be followed? So she will tell about it, that it is a sequence, it's a process, it's not a kind of random attempt. Yes, Dr. Raktima Mukherjee.
Thank you, Professor Roy. Here, let us see what are the sequence and process for women empowerment, and whether the PVTG women also can be empowered by following this process. Now, in this process, which is developed by IBRAD, here in this first stage we call it, that is ice-breaking exercise to identify the talent and aspiration of the women.
Very interestingly, she has mentioned about the talent, and she has shown some seeds. Look at this. There are different varieties of seed, and Dr. Raktima Mukherjee mentions that it requires a different environment, although it is scientific. Look at these two words. It is scientific, it has got a process, the process has to be followed, but for the different seed you need different kind of environment. Say temperature, water, oxygen, all three are required for each seed, but it varies accordingly. Yeah, it's a very good example of showing different seeds. So Baiga will be finding a different approach, method for empowerment.
Yes, certainly Baiga will have different approach for empowerment than the women who are residing in a city or a Santhal lady. So that's why they all have hidden potential, and they all need different kind of environment to germinate, to develop these potentials. And this ice-breaking exercise and establishment of rapport facilitate the women to come out from their psychological shells and to instill in them a kind of confidence that yes, we can do something and we have our hidden potential. So this realization by the women themselves that they have some hidden potentials and these can be developed is facilitated through ice breaking and establishment of rapport with the women, which is the first stage of women empowerment.
This is very interesting. She has mentioned that each one has got talent. So the Baiga woman has got talent and she has got aspiration. So we have to create an environment. She comes out what you want to do. It's not kind of advising. It's a very scientific process of counseling to understand what they want to do. Everyone wants to do something. So what they aspire. So we have to follow their aspiration. Yes, Raktima.
Yeah. So as Professor Roy mentioned, it is very important that it should come from them only, not from any outsider, like what they should do or they shouldn't. It has to be from within, from themselves, and that is the role of the facilitator making them realize their aspirations. Now coming to the stage 2 of women empowerment, which is support group formation and milestone selection. Now what is a support group formation? It is formation of a group of like-minded women.
Yes. Not
many, maybe 5 to 10 like-minded women who will form a group. You can see here the pictures where some of the women, they are having some activities together. It is through formation of their group and selection and plan for some milestones in the form of activities which they will do together, and this gives them a sense of purpose, that is the feeling of achievement. So once the group is formed, then selection of the milestones and activities together that will be achieved, and these activities must be achievable and must have some quick results and returns. This will help keeping this motivation of the women. Otherwise, if the results are very late, then they will not be motivated. The motivation level will drop.
Yeah, see, I mentioned two important words. One is that formation of like-minded to feel comfortable, to share, synergic. Secondly, milestone. Whatever activities choose, so it's like a project, step by step milestone, which has got cost and time. That has to be designed. If you want to make achar, pickle, so pickle step by step. Or if you want to go for repairing something, so that milestone, the project facilitator has to understand. Yes, please.
Then coming to the third stage, which is creating enabling environment, where three kinds of environment are needed. First is the social environment, second is economic, and third is physical or natural environment.
Yes.
So when we say social environment, it includes developing social relations surrounding the women. The relations first among these like-minded group members, then their relationship with their family members, the fellow villagers and society. That gives them a kind of an enabling environment in the form of a support and confidence, and developing network of like-minded people, and also help enhancing their mobility. The second is economic environment, which include kind of financial support, raw materials, processing, marketing. And third is the physical or natural environment, which includes the ecological environment where they live, they reside, there the conditions and the physical infrastructure. Here we can see this Baiga women, how they are involved in developing their social environment as well as natural environment through rainwater conservation, generation of plantation for making their environment healthy.
Very interesting, she has mentioned about the social environment. Social environment, men and women, children all together make social environment. No women empowerment is possible if men do not support it. It has to be gender justice. It has to be gender equity. Look at this picture, as she mentioned, how men extend their helping hand, is working together. In the ground also you can see other picture, the excitement of the men. So the men, if they get supportive with excitement, with the joy, there will be facilitation for the women empowerment. And you have also seen the economic, that means the material, and the physical thing, what the basket of things are there. So these are in the sequence and follow that. Yeah.
So then the next stage is I'll just come to the next stage, which is the fourth stage, that is skill development through trait-based training.
Yeah.
So developing the skill for these women on specific traits, on the activities that they have chosen. Suppose they have chosen for preparation of nutrition garden. So you can see here they are getting trained on how to treat the seeds before plantation.
This is very interesting. Skill development or capacity between the focus comes at the fourth stage. Normally what happens, people if you go, they start conducting training without creating the first, second and third, this will not be successful. So she has mentioned the skill development, the trait-based training will be on the fourth stage, capacity building, and for that all three has to be in order. Yeah.
Yes. And once they are trained, then comes the fifth stage, that is follow-up, hand-holding and monitoring. So whatever activities they have chosen, the milestones they have set, as well as the training they have received, how to implement those. For that we need continuous follow-up, hand-holding and monitoring. And we can never assume that once they are trained, it's over. It's just one-time training and all will be achieved. It is never done so. So we need this continuous hand-holding and monitoring and it could be through digital interactive sessions, online interactive sessions as well. As you have seen in this picture, in this Baiga women in the village of Munda Dadar, how they are participating through this online session. You can see one man here holding one smartphone camera, and other women, they are participating in this online interactive sessions. They are there in the remote places, and the session is conducted from Kolkata. So this is possible through this digital training.
Monitoring is a corrective action also. You keep on saying whether we are going in the right direction or that. So the monitoring has to be there with hand-holding support, patting back and encouraging, and also guiding in case it is deviating from the route.
Yes. And then the final stage, that is celebrating the success for sustaining the motivation. And this is very, very important, because once the women, they start doing something in a group, in a collective manner, then their achievements needs to be celebrated for giving them a kind of a recognition. Recognition doesn't mean only monetary support, but recognizing their efforts, recognizing their actions gives them a kind of sense of contribution to the society, and that gives a kind of a higher level of motivation to the any person. Why only women? So it is very important to design in the program this scope for celebrating success, for sustaining the motivation of the women, and also this also helps expanding the network of the women within the village, outside the village, with the women and also with the men. So that helps kind of a broadening the network, sustaining the motivation, and holding the kind of spirit amongst themselves.
One has to design social rituals to celebrate, recognize, and also to expand from here.
So these are the 6 stages of women empowerment. If we recapitulate quickly, the first stage is ice-breaking exercise to identify the talent and aspiration of the women. The second stage is identification of the like-minded women and formation of a support group and design the milestones. The third stage is creating social, economic and natural enabling environment to facilitate the process of implementation of the plan of action and achieve the milestones. The fourth stage is skill development of the women through trait-based training on the activities that they have chosen. The fifth stage is follow-up, hand-holding and monitoring to see whether the activities are in track, and also to take corrective actions if it is not in the track. And finally, the sixth stage is celebrating the success of the women for sustaining their motivation and also expanding their network. So these are the 6 stages of women empowerment developed by IBRAD and tested in different locations across India, in different geographical locations, and also with different communities, right from tribal groups, particularly vulnerable tribal groups, scheduled caste, OBCs and general caste population.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Thank you.